Now, we head to the Naira. A bit of good news, even though it's not on all fronts. But we saw the Naira yesterday strengthened. We saw a 46 Naira 19 kobo added. That's at NAFEM. So it opened at 1,400. Remember this time yesterday we were talking about how the Naira was 1,400 Naira 40 kobo and closed at 1,354 Naira 21 kobo. That's a 3.30% gain on the Naira. NAFEX 1,399 Naira 37 kobo, and it opened at 1,402 Naira. That's a 0.27. But I heard that in the parallel market, it was actually lower. It was still around 1,004. That's a reverse of the trend we've been having in recent times. Recent times we've been having the BDCs with more value than the official. But let's find out more with Dumebi. Dumebi Oluwale is a senior associate with financial derivatives. Hi, Dumebi. Good morning.
Good morning, Ini.
Yeah, so I'm tired of reporting the Naira depreciating, but I don't want to put my hope on this because I don't know if it's permanent or if it's just a blip that by tomorrow this time will be on the reverse, you know. But do we know why we saw this appreciation yesterday? I mean, if you look at the NAFEM, which is the busiest of the official market, it was up more than 3%. That's impressive. Do we know what drove it?
I mean, from the look of things and what we've analyzed so far, low trading is primarily the reason why this has happened. And it's simply because, you know, we're coming from the weekend. There's not a lot of demand right now. Demand at the official market was low. And then we saw an upsurge in demand at the parallel market. So that's why you're seeing the parallel market rate actually depreciate as against the official market appreciating. A significant thing to actually note is that the average daily turnover at the official window, that's the NAFEM window, actually significantly declined between last week Friday and this Monday. So that basically tells you that the transaction activities at the official window was significantly lower. And meanwhile, we saw an upsurge in, you know, demand activities. At the parallel market.
Are people getting confident, more confident in the parallel market again? Because that used to be the case, but I thought the story had changed.
I mean, it's not completely the case. So what we have seen so far is with the Naira's depreciating trend all through last week, and I think the week before, some level of confidence had been down. So it's a kind of thing where you're having panic buying at the parallel market, where people have a lot more access to a lot more BDCs and they're able to increase their demand, changing their dollar. So that's one of the reasons why we said at the beginning of last week, so even though there was some level of fundamentals that backs the Naira's decline, speculative activities, bearish investor sentiment also pervaded the market, increasing, you know, influx of demand at the parallel market, causing the parallel market rate to depreciate. So this is just a symptom of, you know, the FX market destabilization somewhat, where there's some level of speculation, especially with the Bloomberg article that came out, you know, with the bond highlighting the increase in the bond rate of the forex reserves. And then we also heard the CBN governor speaking. I think it was at an IMF press briefing or something, so where he highlighted the fact that, oh no, that it's not an increase in interventions that, you know, that are drawing down the reserves. So it's debt repayment. Regardless of whatever the case might have been, the truth of the matter is that the bond rate on the FX reserves was significant enough to attract or to get the markets rattled somewhat, and that has continued to, you know, destabilize the FX market and reverse the gains in the Naira.
Do we know how long this, I mean, because a lot of times when I talk about it, people tell me, oh, it's trying to find its feet, the Naira is trying to find its feet. Do we know how long this finding its feet could take? Does this look like it's going to stay, or?
Yeah. So the thing is, so I'll start by talking about the fit and then answer the question about whether it's going to stay. So the first one about the fit, this trend that we're seeing, the volatility in the currency, it's not new, especially when a country has decided to, you know, go on the path of reforms. Simply because now I'm going into the reason whether it's going to stay or not. So simply because we have transitioned from a fixed exchange rate system, at least based on what the CBN governor has said, we've moved to a willing buyer, willing seller model. And we're seeing a lot of effort on the monetary policy side of things to ensure that this FX transparency is open. When we know what exactly is going on with the Naira, demand and supply is actually determining what the exchange rate will be. Not because there's no room for interventions. There is room, because we're at a tipping point, and it's extremely important that when the time comes, CBN should be able to intervene. But then you also
but would you say the CBN has stopped intervening?
I wouldn't say
because
that. And the reason is because
I think it was 2 weeks ago we did
yes.
see sale to banks.
Yes.
The one to the BDCs is even more constant.
Yes.
Even though I don't think we had any last week, but the upper week we did have that.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know if to say that intervention from the CBN is out.
No, I didn't say it was out.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that there is, because of the model that we have transitioned into, you don't expect that to be the core of what is driving your exchange rate. We're coming from a world where it was the CBN supplying that determined, and CBN actually determining what the exchange rate will be. We have moved from there. And what I was trying to highlight is that interventions at a critical time like this will happen. It's not news that, you know, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is it's not outside of the scope of what we're seeing now, even though we have transitioned for it to happen. So I don't know if you're understanding. Yes. So basically what I'm saying is that the trend we're seeing now is not, I don't think it's going to be sustained for a very long time. But I do think that we will continue to see market fundamentals determine what the Naira will be. And if there is need, which there will be, we might see the CBN stepping up to somewhat support the currency so we don't see significant depreciations. And remember, Nigeria's exchange rate market is very determined by how much dollar inflows that we get. I think this is even common knowledge for every FX market. And we have seen bearish sentiments from almost all fronts of FX supply into the country. Crude oil production is down. And what that means is that our earnings from crude oil is also declining. Non-oil exports as well, even though we're seeing that ramp up, we also need to understand that the revenue from there as well is not as buoyant because we're not producing so much. Case in point, cocoa, we're not producing as much, so we're not earning as much.
And very painful when cocoa prices were surging.
Very high, we're not benefiting.
We did not benefit.
Exactly.
Even the farmers did not benefit. The country did not benefit.
Exactly.
Very
so
sad.
That tells you that, you know, dollar reserves from our key sources of revenue are declining. Then you go into dollar inflows from investors, right? Primarily foreign portfolio investors at the moment. We're seeing capital outflows, right? So that as well.
Is it payout season?
Not exactly. I would say that this is just, again, it's symptomatic of whatever is happening in the economy today, right? So we see, especially foreign portfolio, remember it's hot money. So if they notice anything that is not exactly giving them what they should get, they will quickly take out their funds. And we've seen an influx of, you know, foreign portfolio investors into the equities market because that's primarily where they will invest. But we're also seeing an increase in capital outflows. Remember, the stock market, because of the high interest rate environment, we're seeing a stock market correction, right? So we're seeing a lot of, we're seeing the stock market being bearish, and that is another reason why that is happening, is because we're seeing a lot of outflows, right? So meaning that foreign exchange is coming into the country is declining, and that is capping the CBN's ability.
What happened to our remittances? But I mean, we don't really have time. There's diesel. I really want us to talk about the diesel. We know Dangote cut the price lower than 1,000, but I hear it's about 1,200 now.
Yes. Yeah. Remember, a lot of these things are fueled by the Naira, right? And remember, right now we have, especially the diesel market is deregulated, right? So if anything happens to a key input material, it will definitely affect their prices. And the exchange rate is a key determinant of what the price of diesel will be. If you remember, I think there was a period where diesel prices were declining, and it coincided with when the Naira was appreciating. So now that the Naira has depreciated, the prices are back up. I think one good thing to remember is that we're now in a world where commodity prices, especially energy prices primarily, are no longer being subsidized as much as they were, right? So consumers would need to expect that if today the Naira depreciated, most likely you might see that also reflect in energy prices. Yes.
All right, Dumebi, thank you so much for that explanation. Dumebi Oluwole, have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, another conversation is waiting for you, and there might be an opportunity for you to invest in infrastructure. Did you know that? Well, join us in a moment.